They declared humanity extinct with a vote. Not a war, not a final battle, just a vote, cold, efficient, unanimous. In the vast chambers of the Galactic Assembly, beneath 1,000 alien suns projected into a single ceiling, the motion passed without debate. Humans, it was said, had burned too bright, too fast. Their home system had gone silent decades ago. No signals, no ships, no survivors. Extinct, the archivists recorded. And just like that, humanity was erased. The galaxy moved on. Trade routes expanded. Old enemies became cautious allies. Entire species rose and fell in the time it took for human memory to fade into myth. Among younger civilizations, humans became a cautionary tale, reckless, emotional, fragile. They fought among themselves, teachers would say. They destroyed their own world. They were not built to last. The older races knew better, but they said nothing, because they remembered the last time humanity had been underestimated. 300 years after the declaration, a mining convoy near the edge of uncharted space picked up something impossible. A signal, not just any signal, an old one. Human. The convoy's captain, a four-armed veteran of a dozen star systems, stared at the waveform in disbelief. "That's not possible," she whispered. The transmission repeated, weak, distorted, but unmistakable. "Still here, if anyone hears, we are still here." Panic spread faster than the signal itself. Within days, the Galactic Assembly reconvened. Emergency protocols were enacted. Ancient records were pulled from archives long untouched. "They're extinct," one delegate insisted. "They were extinct," another corrected, voice trembling. The difference mattered. A reconnaissance fleet was dispatched immediately. 20 ships, then 50, then 100. Not out of curiosity, out of fear. Because if humanity had survived, then the galaxy had made a mistake. And mistakes, when it came to humans, had consequences. They found the system where it all supposedly ended. Sol. But it wasn't dead. It was changed. The star burned differently. Contained, stabilized, engineered. Massive structures orbited it, drawing energy on a scale no species had ever attempted. The planets, those that remained, were covered in metallic lattices and shield networks. Earth was gone, not destroyed, transformed, encased within a shell of black and gold, humming with power. A Dyson core. The fleet drifted at the edge of the system, silent. "No civilization builds this in secret," one commander said. Another replied, "No known civilization." Then the transmission came again, this time stronger, clearer. "You took your time." Every ship froze. The voice was human, calm, controlled, not a trace of desperation. "Identify yourself," the fleet commander demanded. There was a pause, just long enough to feel deliberate. "We are humanity," the voice said. "And you declared us extinct." Back in the assembly, chaos erupted. "That's impossible. They should have collapsed. No species survives isolation at that scale." But the evidence was undeniable. Humanity hadn't died. It had disappeared. The fleet received coordinates, an invitation, against better judgment, and every survival instinct, they accepted. One ship entered first, then it vanished. No explosion, no signal loss, just gone. Panic surged, but then it reappeared, inside the system, closer, guided. The captain who returned could barely speak. They didn't hide, she finally managed. They prepared. Humanity met them at the edge of Earth's shell. Not with weapons, with a station, massive, elegant, unlike anything the galaxy had ever built. It wasn't just technology, it was evolution. A human stepped forward, alone, unarmed. At least, that's how it appeared. "Welcome," he said. The fleet's sensors screamed warnings. Energy readings off the charts. Weapons systems beyond comprehension. Defensive capabilities that made entire armadas obsolete. "You were declared extinct," the commander said carefully. The humans smiled. "Yes, we noticed." They were brought inside. What they saw rewrote everything. Cities suspended in light. Oceans contained within fields of gravity. skies that shifted at will. Humanity had not just survived. They had transcended. Their bodies were still human. But their minds, their reach, their understanding. It was something else entirely. We left the galaxy, the human explained. Left, the commander echoed. For a time, he said. You see, extinction is a matter of perspective. You thought we were gone because you couldn't see us anymore. Where did you go? The human's smile didn't fade. But it changed. Somewhere you weren't ready to follow. Silence filled the chamber. We learned, he continued. We evolved. We faced things that make your greatest wars look like misunderstandings. Then why come back? Someone asked. That was the wrong question. The human's eyes shifted, just slightly. We never left, he said. We were always here, watching, waiting. For what? For you to decide what kind of galaxy you wanted. The assembly received the message hours later. Not a threat, not a declaration of war. A correction. Humanity is not extinct. That was all it said. But attached to it was something far more terrifying. A demonstration. Across the galaxy, in systems light years apart, ancient threats vanished overnight. Pirate empires collapsed. War fleets disarmed mid-battle. Entire regions once considered lost were suddenly safe. No explanation, no warning, just results. They're showing us something, one delegate whispered. No, another replied. They're reminding us. The truth became impossible to ignore. Humanity had not returned for revenge. They had returned because they had outgrown it. But that didn't make them harmless. It made them something far more dangerous. A final transmission came directly to the assembly. This time, it wasn't a single voice. It was many. We heard your vote, humanity said. And we understand. A pause. Then, but extinction is not decided by silence. The chamber lights flickered. Every system, every sensor, every device in the galaxy registered the same impossible reading. Human presence. Everywhere. When you stopped hearing us, the voice continued, we were learning to speak in ways you couldn't understand. The stars themselves seemed to pulse. We are no longer bound to one world, one system, one form. A beat. You thought we were gone. And then the final line. Clear, certain, unmistakable. You were horribly wrong. No vote followed. No one dared propose one. Because for the first time in galactic history, humanity didn't need recognition. It didn't need approval. It didn't even need a place in the galaxy. It was the galaxy now.